So for the main event tonight at UFC 247, we have the GOAT, John Bones Jones, defending against Dominick, the Devastator, Reyes. Now, in this fight, I'm just going to get straight to the point. John Jones is going to win. I mean, I really don't have too much more to say. Like, nobody in the light heavyweight division to me is going to beat him. He's just proven to me that, when he's just focused in there, in the zone, that, like I said, I just call him the GOAT. There's no one stopping him. I don't feel there's no more challenges for him in this division anymore. I feel like he's just head and shoulders above the rest. I feel like his hardest fights are behind him. Everyone is retiring. That, was supposed to be huge competition for him. Gustafsson, DC, Anthony Johnson, all those dudes, they're all but gone. DC said he has one more fight in him. He wants to fight Stipe Miocic. And honestly, I want to see Jones go up to heavyweight. No disrespect to Dominick, but his most impressive win is pretty much against Chris Weidman, his last fight. And Chris Weidman, he got the knockout on Chris Weidman, but who hasn't? Who hasn't knocked out Chris in the past, few fights he's had? He's been losing almost all of his fights recently. And he moved up in weight. I was expecting you to beat him the way you did. Dominick, he had that fight against Volkan, which I don't even feel like he won that fight against Volkan Ozdemir. He got the nod, but when I watched it, to me, I gave the nod to Volkan, 2-1. Now, I ain't watched it since then, but, maybe I would look at it differently. But the bottom line is he struggled against Volkan Ozdemir. And I'm supposed to believe that he's about to provide John Jones a heavy challenge. The only thing I see going for Dominick in this fight is Bones is documented to have trouble, I'll put in quotations, trouble, with guys that have, length, the match's length, reach, height, and all that. But even then, okay, besides the first fight with Gustafsson, where Jones even said, he was like, bro, I didn't train for this. I was out partying, doing all the stuff I was doing. I was not focused for that fight. And I believe him, because in their second fight, he made Gustafsson look like he wasn't even in the same league as him. He had that long layoff against Ovin St. Preux. That's their common opponent, by the way, too. Dominick did have a great performance against Ovin St. Preux. But people are saying, oh, John Jones didn't look good in that fight, this and that. But they're only saying that literally because he's John Jones. Because he wasn't so dominant. They said the same thing against John Jones versus Anthony Smith. And Anthony Smith didn't win a single round that fight against John. And they were like, John's didn't look too good. He looked like he's getting older. No, he just didn't finish him in one round like you guys were hoping he would, because he's the GOAT. That's the thing about when you get so great to the point, is if you're not completely obliterating your opponents in one round, people are going to look for absolutely anything that just tells them something that you might be falling off just a tad bit. You look at fighters like Khabib, and when he fought Ali Quinta, everybody knows Khabib's undefeated. He won every single round in that fight, and people were, oh my goodness, his chin's up. If he fights like that against so-and-so, against Conor, they would be, he can be in some serious trouble. Conor could catch him with the left, yada, yada, and then he fights Conor, and he taps him out in the fourth round. So you see it all the time when fighters are just so good to the point where they can have one minuscule slip-up in the fight. People will go insane and talk about what happened, this and that. Even Dominick Cruz and Gilbert Melendez, when they were analyzing his last fight with Santos, which was a split decision. I didn't watch the full video, but even they said, man, looking back on this fight, I don't see one round that Santos won against Jon Jones. But you wouldn't know that because during the fight, everybody was going insane every time Jon Jones missed a punch. So, yeah, guys. Sorry it's not like me giving this huge, big old, credit to each opponent and this and that like I try to do usually, but I just really do not see Dominick Reyes providing any. I mean, yes, he has power in his left hand. Everybody has a puncher's chance. I'm not saying that, Jon Jones can't get knocked out or anything on some surprise type stuff. That can happen to anybody in the MMA. But I just don't think it will. Jon is too patient, too smart. He's too much of a high IQ fighter, I feel, to let something like that happen. So, yeah, I got Jon Jones winning this fight. I can see him winning like the second round, TKO or something. So, yeah, that's my prediction for UFC 247 tonight. And I hope you guys enjoy the fight later. I know I will. Peace.